Hello everyone, I am Elisa García and this is my video for the exam of Resources in ICT. I am a first year student at the University of Murcia and I am part of the primary education degree in the bilingual group. I am going to start with the part 1 that was developing a teaching project for my imaginary students. I've chosen the topic of marine manure and marine conservation for the three activities because I think that it is a very important problem that we currently have in Murcia. My students belong to the fifth grade due to the fact that in this year they are more concerned and aware about these kind of problems, and also they are more advanced at vocabulary in English and digital resources than the previous years. My students are creative, cooperative, digital, bilingual, and curious. These are the objectives that my students are going to achieve with this project. These objectives are from the curriculum. In the transcription of the video are all well referenced. These objectives are basically related with technology abilities, with work teams, with environment, and respect and collaboration. The next step was choosing an app to ask to it what to do. In this case, I chose Schemely, an app which you give it the topic and some characteristic of students, and it creates activities and more things for you. It gives you the objectives, the summary, and of course the activities. Honestly, I think that the activities that it has created will be very effective to raise awareness to the children about this topic. And also, they will be very entertaining. However, I might do them more complete. For example, adding some quizzes at the final of the lesson just to see what the students have learned. Or I will join two activities or two ideas just to do more completed. Now it's time to show you the three activities that I have created. The first activity is a comic. Firstly, they will have to use their imagination to create their own story in a dialogue way, related with the topic, in this case, mar menor and marine conservation. Secondly, they would have to create some images for the comic in an app. In this case, I used Deep AI, that is an image generator. You just have to specify the things that you want to appear in the photo and it created for you. Lastly, they would have to create a Canva account to stick the images in the template that they choose. And they would have to stick in the bullets the story that they have created. This would be an example of a finished comic. With this activity, they will learn how to create their own comic and how to create their own story using their imagination and the concepts that they knew before about the topic. Also, they will develop their digital skills. These are the different learning designs from the ACAD framework. This is the epistemic designs that I've chose. Games, simulation. This is the set design, the resources that my student would have to use. Tablets, for example, mobile. And this is the social design that I've decided to put teachers, teamwork. It is very important to work with tools because they are essential nowadays. Above all, it is very important for children because they are going to be related with tools and devices for the rest of their lives. Therefore, it is better doing the comic in a digital way instead of paper because they are going to develop their digital skills and also the final result is going to be more beautiful. This is the rubric that I created for evaluating my students in this task. I will take into account their English skills, if they master the vocabulary or not, the originality, if it's different the task, if they master the digital resources, and if they collaborate well. Canva, it's the app that I used for creating the comic, and I think that in general it is a very good app who I think that it like has every user has its rights and protection and privacy. The other tool that I used for creating this comic is Deep AI, and the only problem that is so for this app is that you cannot save the images in a lot of ways, like it has a lot of limitations, so because of that I put it in minor concern, and also like it asks you to for personal information. The second activity that I chose is on stop motion. The topic is the same as the other activity, and for doing a stop motion my students will have to bring some specific materials and then they will start to draw and to create their characters for the stop motion. Afterwards, on their tablets or on their electronic devices, they will have to download the app Stop Motion and they will have to start to take pictures of their story. These are the cards again, and I put the same cards as the other activity because I think that they are very similar. Incorporating digital tools and activities are essential nowadays. Therefore, with these activities, they can develop their digital skills and also their art skills. Two things that are going to be very important for their development. For this task, I will take into account the knowledge and awareness about the topic. If they master the topic, they will have an outstanding, and if the topic isn't clear, they would have an insufficient. Also, I would take into account the same skills as the other activity, their originality, if the project is different for the rest ideas that I saw before, if they collaborate well in teamwork, they will have an outstanding. However, if they had problems of collaboration or they are not creative enough, they are going to have an insufficient. Viva Video is the app that I use for adding the music to the stop motion, and it is a very good app, although it has like a lot of advertisements and it asks you for creating an account and give it like so much privacy. The other tool that I used for creating this stop motion is the app called Stop Motion. It's a perfect app because it doesn't even ask you for creating any account or whatever, and all the privacy and rights. I think that is very correct. The third activity that I created is a quiz. Firstly, they will have to download the quizzes app and they will have to create an account. Then students will have to search for information about this topic, Mar Menor and marine conservation, and they will have to create some questions. When the questions are created, students just have to choose the option that they think that is correct. If they commit a mistake or if they have the right answer, it has an explanation of why they had the mistake. In Google is a wide range of information. So if they search on internet for things about the topic, they will know more about it. Therefore, they are going to develop their autonomy and independence. I also put the same cards because the three activities are games, are also collaborative, and they are going to have the same resources. For this task, I'm going to delete the creativity mark and I'm going to evaluate and take a lot into account the knowledge and awareness about the topic. If the questions are well and about the topic and also the English skills, the vocabulary is correct, the questions are well formulated in English, also the digital resources if they manage with them well, and the collaboration and teamwork if they don't have any problem doing the activity. The last two I'm going to evaluate is Quizy. I think that is a very good app. You just have to introduce some personal details, but very few, and the rest of the things I think that it has like all well. These are the 5 tools that I would include in my PLE. Firstly, Google Docs, because it is essential to do almost every work. I did every work that I had in at the university in Google Docs indeed. And also you can share notes with other people, and it is very similar to Word, but with this I don't have to pay. The next one is Schemely. It is great for creating activities for children. You just have to put the topic of the idea that you want and the years and ability of your students, and it creates an activity for you. This tool has helped me a lot. For example, to create some things for this video. ChatGPT is a very powerful tool in my opinion. Almost everything you ask, it can answer to you. Therefore, it will be essential for me to be on my PLE because I can use it not only for doing works, but also for my real life in every question that I have. DeepL. It was very useful for me during this quarter because it helps me a lot with the languages, in my case English, and I think that I've improved a lot. Also, the translation that it does are very accurate. The last tool that I want to name is Miro because it also has helped me a lot during the university because it's very helpful for group works and because everybody can interact in it. Also, it facilitates working and it creates attractive designs and incredible mind maps. During this quarter, I have learned what the COMPEDU, the Digital Competence Framework for Educator, is, and also more things about it, such as its areas. Although every area is important, for me the three areas that stand out from the rest are professional engagement, which takes advantage of digital tools for effective communication, teamwork, and partnership, both within educational institutions. It encompasses enhancing performance through self-reflection, fostering continuous professional growth, and privacy. Therefore, the workshops by team that we did help us to develop ourselves more in this competence. In addition to this, the reflection that we had to do each week about our task and the reflection about the digital resources that we used during this week for our task also helped us to develop this part of our competence. In assessment is another area that I consider very important. This definition encompasses the utilization of digital tools and methods to enhance the assessment of student learning outcomes and the teaching learning process itself. An activity that helped us to develop this competence could be, for example, the creation of our own portfolios. Lastly, promoting digital competence in students by training them to creatively and responsibly using digital technologies in various areas, including information search, communication, safe participation, content creation, protecting privacy, and carrying out personal projects. Some activities that were useful to develop this competence were, for example, the infographics that we did or our posts in social media. I think that I deserve an 8.8 because I've never used AI tools such as ChatGPT or Llama or DeepL, although it can sound a lie because they are very famous tools, but I've never been keen on that kind of resources. However, this year I had to learn how to use them and how to apply them in a very accurate way, and I acknowledge that it helps me a lot. A cooperative group was very difficult for me because I've never liked working with big groups. I have always preferred working on my own, and because of the schedule and because I do what I want, and this year I had to adapt to other people, to their schedules, to their opinions, and I acknowledge that we had a very not serious problems, but we had some troubles during our course. And however, we get over them. I acknowledge that I am not the best, that sometimes I didn't have enough ideas to share, or that I didn't participate as best as I could. So because of that, I don't put me more mark than I said. For me, the most difficult role was being a star because I'm a little bit shy. And every time that I have to do a presentation, I get very nervous and afraid of doing something wrong. Also, I feel very responsible of representing my whole group. So for me, this role has a lot of responsibility and pressure. I used a lot of tools for doing this exam. In the first part, I used Canva and DeepIA for doing the comic. Also, I used Viva Video and stop motion for creating stop motion, and the app Quizy. For the second part, I used Google and Google Docs for doing the whole prescript, and for editing the whole video, I use CapCut. That is an app for editing videos. I did this exam on my own searching on the internet and reflecting by myself. However, I have to acknowledge the AI that I used who helped me, that are DeepL, Scamely, and Yama 2.ai. I did it for get inspired over things that I didn't understand. So this is all of my exam. I hope you like it, and thanks for watching it.